Why do we get stuck in old habits? Why are they difficult to break? And why is it that anytime we've tried to break them, we just revert back to our old belief systems, our old patterns of behavior? It's frustrating, it's limiting, and it's holding you back from who you want to be in your life. And so that's why today I'm going to go over 5 things. Number 1, the problem we're dealing with. Number 2, the real reason why we can't change. Number 3, the ego's role in all of this. Number 4, the solution. Number 5, applying the solution for lasting change. Starting with the problem. So what is going on exactly? Well, you'll quite literally feel like any time you try to make any kind of change in your life, and even if you make some ground moving in a different direction, you feel this strong pull, quite literally like the image I just designed. You feel like this magnet, and the magnet represents your old habits. Now, a habit doesn't just have to be something you do physically. It could be a belief system, a way that you see the world or interpret yourself. And anytime you try to move away from it, you feel its pull get really strong, and it starts to bring you back into its ecosystem. Now, this can feel so frustrating. Well, so start off first, it actually will feel like a strong magnet. Next thing is it's gonna feel hopeless. You feel like there's nothing you can do, and it's almost inevitable. Like this is just part of your life. This can also lead you to thinking that there's something wrong with you, especially because you'll see all sorts of videos online talking about how you just gotta pull yourself up from your bootstraps, or you just gotta tell yourself you're fine. And you're looking at those guys and you're thinking, well, how are they able to just command themselves into change? And it could really draw back on your own self-esteem and your own confidence. And then, of course, you'll also feel like people just will not understand. They'll think again that there's something wrong with you, or you're missing the big picture, or you're making it bigger than it has to be. Now let's go to the next step. Why we can't change. What's really going on? Now, my way of explaining it is going to be different than what you've probably heard before. It's something that I've picked up on along the way in my own personal practice and personal development, and now guiding other people in my mentorship program, which, by the way, if you're interested in doing it, click the second link down below and book a 30-minute free consultation. Let me introduce you to loop patterns. Loop patterns are going to be the predominant reason why change will feel impossible. And anytime you try to move away from it, it pulls you back in. So let's get started with the very first thing oftentimes is something will ignite an emotion: fear, anxiety, stress, embarrassment. And this emotion is linked to something in your past. Could be your childhood, could be in your early teen years. It doesn't really matter, but there was something that happened. Maybe you were yelled at by your parents, maybe you were embarrassed by your friends at school, bullied for a number of years. Something happened that then created a strong emotional knot. This emotion springs up one of 2 things. I know I designed it in this particular order, but it can go in any which direction. You can, from that emotion, create thoughts, so words in your head. So if an example being, let's say you were told growing up that you're not good enough, you're never gonna be good, you're never gonna actually amount to anything. What does that do with the dialogue in your head? So as you grow up and you'll have an emotion come up that is very reminiscent of that past. And so then the words kick in. I don't think I'm going to be able to achieve this promotion. Well, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to get into a relationship with this girl or guy that I've been having a crush over for so long now. Whatever it is, it'll spring it into a thought. These thoughts can turn into images or moving pictures. It depends on you, right? For me, I'm a vivid thinker, so I can picture in like a movie, right? It's not just pictures, it's like a moving image. I said it can start with emotions, but it can start with a moving picture, an image. You can be sitting there and then a thought came to mind of you maybe embarrassing yourself in front of your crush, or you stumbling over your words during your interview for a promotion with your boss. And this thing causes an emotion of embarrassment, the feelings of the old story. Then that can launch you into thoughts. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm messing this up. Now the question is, what is really also happening at a deeper level? The way I interpret this is, imagine if this cycle kept spinning. Because what happens when you get into this state is you begin to ruminate. For me, personally, when I was competing and I was training jiu-jitsu full-time, I'm a black belt and I've won tons of medals over the years, but the biggest problem I used to have was self-doubt. I was always critical of myself before I actually got on the mat for my match, for the tournament. And the thoughts that would come into my mind is, this person's maybe going to beat me. And if they beat me, I'm going to feel embarrassed. If I'm embarrassed, I'm going to have low self-worth and people will ignore me. And what would happen is this would spin and move quicker and quicker and quicker. What happens? The faster it moves, the quicker it moves, it forms a gravitational pull. And the quicker you spin it, the stronger it's going to get. And if you do this across time, you can imagine that any time you're remotely close to its orbit, it pulls you in like a black hole. Another way you can picture this is similar to when you go tobogganing down a hill. The first time you go down very slow, it doesn't happen quick. The same way when you're first going into this state of loop, the first few times is really not that strong. It creates heavy emotion. Perhaps you can snap yourself out of it. But when it's something that's been a part of your life for a number of years, just like going down that toboggan, that same exact path, what happens? You'll go down quicker, faster, and faster and faster. The exact same thing applies to loop patterns. The more you ruminate it, the quicker it'll spin, the stronger its gravitational pull, which is why anytime you try to move away from it, it drags you back in and it feels impossible. And by the way, this is happening unconsciously. You don't really know it's happening unless you've built some self-awareness and a practice to actually see what's going on. Similar to unconscious, it's on autopilot, meaning whether you know it's happening or not, this still operates. It will still dictate what you do. It'll influence everything in your life. And this is something that I don't often ever hear talked about when it comes to personal development or being stuck in a particular rut, is that this can keep you hooked, but in a very bizarre way. Because when you get to a place of hopelessness with something you're trying to change and you can't do anything for it, you start to almost find an enjoyment in just submitting to this dark energy, to this feeling of being sad, and you can actually derive pleasure from it. You've associated that you can't escape, so you might as well have some sort of fun with it, I guess. Fun maybe isn't the right word, but I think you know what I mean when I say it. But what is the ego's role in this entire picture? Let's get into that now. The ego gets a bad rap. It gets interpreted as something that is your enemy, but it is only your enemy insofar as how much power you give it, how much decision making you give this thing. If you allow the ego to make all the calls, in other words, living above the shoulders versus applying aspects of your heart and aspects of your soul, which all three working together will provide you a more aligned, purposeful, deep existence, rather than just living above the shoulders where it's all fear, paranoia, stress, anxiety. And the ego gets interpreted as something that's always just there to attack you, but it's not. It's simply there to protect. It's there to provide you protection from what? Well, the threat that you deem is so scary. That's what this beautiful image is about. And so essentially when someone, imagine, is coming at you, some event, some scenario, that you have decided this is a threat. Me going out into a public setting and speaking my opinions, trying to make friends is a threat. Because obviously from the previous section we talked about how if it's related to a particular loop pattern from your past, then what's going to happen is your ego will kick in and say, no, we're not doing that. You're going to get yourself hurt. Something will happen. So it kicks in your fight, flight, or freeze response. And it doesn't matter how much rational thought you apply to it. You're somatically, your body is locked up. And all that happens is the ego brings your vision down to a very narrow space. And so all you can see, it's filtered through that fear, through the anxiety, the stress, the abandonment, whatever your particular thing is. The ego also focuses on what you want it to focus on. Now, this is where things can get a little bit tricky because, like I said before, as it spins, as the loop spins, creates a gravitational pull. So in some way, you want to move away from it, but the ego's compelled to stick to it. It's compelled to bring it back into its life, into your orbit. And why it also does that is because change feels scary. And why is change scary? Well, that's just human nature. We're afraid of losing what we have because we assume it can get worse. You would rather have predictably bad days than the idea of the unknown. If I change this, what if people don't like me even more? What if I get abandoned even more? What if I make less money than I already have? But of course, is there truth to it? Maybe. Or could it be possible that what you're actually stepping into is a completely different world, that you'll be amazed at the change you can have once you just step through that invisible wall, which it really is. It's just an invisible wall that we've just made it to be so strong looking that we're like those, you know what, it's a way to think of it. You know those mimes, those guys that do this? That's how I like to think of it. We've formed ourselves into a box and we have made it so real, because that's the thing. It is kind of real when you trap yourself in a cycle. It does feel real. But it just like that mime, you've made it so vivid that you're thinking, I can't get out, I can't get out. So we're understanding the problem. We see what the real issue can be, which is the loop pattern. We're starting to understand the role of the ego. So then now, how do we actually apply the change? What's the solution to all this? First, start with awareness. As we said before, this runs on autopilot. It's unconscious to you until you bring it up from the depths into your conscious awareness for you to actually observe and see how it operates. By simply knowing how it works, you can begin to get some control back from it. So begin by logging your patterns. Get yourself a journal. Doesn't really matter what kind of journal it is, but it just needs to be something that you can write down consistently. So devote for the next 30 days. Every day, you are going to journal. If an emotion comes up, if a particular thought or a moving image or picture springs to mind, you are going to write it down. You are going to build an intimate understanding of what is going on. What order do you seem to play it out as? Is it emotions first? Is it thoughts first? Or moving pictures? You will have your own flavor to it. And you need to understand it. Get in touch with it. Do not treat it as your enemy. Treat it as something that's just delivering information to you, because it's there to protect. Fundamentally, remember, all these things that happen, they're there to protect you, even though it does hold you back. It can limit your life, and it's frustrating. You want to be angry at this loop pattern, but the more angry you get, it won't change anything. Believe me, I know. I've fallen into that rut of feeling stuck and so frustrated that you begin to hate yourself, hate your existence, and you're just beginning a snowball and then leading yourself into another loop pattern. So please remember, you want to enter this inner world, this investigation with what I call the hero stance. And you can find all that, by the way, the first link down below for my free identity initiation guide. The hero stance is the place you want to be in, the state of mind before you enter in and investigate your inner world to avoid judgment, criticism, or denial. After you've logged it, like we said, build awareness. Build awareness of what's going on. Number 3, you have to know that you can be bigger than it. It isn't so much that you can get rid of a loop pattern. And that's one thing I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to stand here and say you can get rid of it. You can't get rid of it fully. And the reason why is because these deeper loop patterns, ones that have been stuck with you for your whole life, are essentially part of your code. They're attached to your DNA in some way. Something you have to look at more is managing its power, managing its aggression, and then you developing yourself to be bigger than the complex itself. And number 4, most importantly, you have to find the story that's sitting beneath all of this. As we said in the very beginning, if something happened to you growing up, some event, a moment, or series of events that have led to a belief system, a deep-rooted belief system that says you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, You have to know if that is part of the reason that your loop pattern springs up. Because you can do all the work you can on the surface level. You can tell yourself how amazing you are. You can go to the gym, you can do all these things. But if you do not know its origin, it'll just move around. It'll just change places to another issue in your life and another problem or a new relationship. So you have to understand it deeply and know the narrative that's been controlling you. And now for the final stage, I'm going to give you an application you can do now that you can start doing tomorrow and actually start to see change in 30 days or more. But you have to be consistent with it. You have to be devoted to it. If you do it one day and you don't do it the other day, you're not going to see any change. The first thing you're going to do is interrupt the loop pattern. When you begin to notice it, if you've done the first steps, which is logging everything, and you can start to notice its ritual, its pattern, when it first begins, whether image, thought, or moving pictures, you hold it at the first step. You take deep inhales. Stop what you're doing. Take a moment, close your eyes, slow your breath. Focus everything at the center of your being. Deep inhales, slow exhales. Try to feel your fingers, feel your body, what's going on. Try to listen to the sounds in the room around you. We are trying to bring yourselves into the present moment before we get lifted up into that realm. Stay calm, stay patient. That moment will pass. The act of interrupting, what it's doing is preventing the spin. You're stopping that rotation from happening. And again, at first, because you've done this for a long time, it'll be the most difficult thing you will ever do. It's going to take days, but that is okay. It's worth the struggle. Believe me, it is. And so if you stick with it, eventually what you'll start to notice, you can catch yourself before it starts to rotate. And once you can catch yourself, you stay in that first stage. Hold yourself there. And once that moment passes, you will reward yourself for it. Give yourself that gratitude. Give yourself that kudos that you just tackled something extremely difficult, something that's been holding you for so many years. And now moving into the next thing, you're going to have to challenge your fear. So let's say your fear was making new friends in public. It was something that's very attached to an old narrative and story. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to challenge that fear. But you are going to start micro. The saying I usually say is micro to macro. The small changes that lead to big changes. And so if for you, making a new friend at a social event is like beyond possible right now, then you will start at the lowest hanging fruit, which is simply saying hi. Say, hey, how you doing? Good, thanks. Have a good night. And then walk away. Is it going to feel silly? Are you going to feel embarrassed to yourself that you're starting at such a low level? Yes. But you're going to have to get over that. That's the one area of my mentorship that I often say, you're just going to have to bite that bullet. You know, if we're unable to even be able to begin the change even at a small micro level, because that we're also too embarrassed of that, then nothing will ever change. So you have to just swallow your pride. It's okay. Allow the embarrassment to flow in you. As long as you don't have to tell people about it. This is your own personal journey, or between you and I. And this is where it's really going to make the impact. You create a new loop pattern. Who's to say it's only bad loop patterns? You can challenge your fears, feel good about it, feel rewarded. It gives you emotions of strength, excitement, and courage. And you can spin that one. Man, I feel good. I challenge my fear. This is amazing. I feel bigger. I feel stronger. This is incredible. And you loop it and over and over and over again. To strengthen it, guess what you do? You start from the very beginning. Interrupt the loop pattern when it comes up. Understand what it's trying to tell you. Understand the story behind it. It's awareness. Do not just block it off if you don't know what's going on. It's very important that you need to know what the loop pattern is deeply. Then you can challenge the fear again, perhaps pushing your boundary just a little bit more next time. Instead of just saying, hey, how you doing? Ask them about their life. How did you get here? Do you know anyone at the party? Or maybe you're speaking to your boss and you're starting to get more close with them and understanding them and making friends with them, whatever it is. You're pushing that boundary just a little bit more. And every time you do, you create a loop pattern, you strengthen that rotation, and you keep repeating it. You do this consistently for 30 days or more, you will feel different. I've had clients that I've worked with that they've felt a change within 2 weeks. Mind you, the clients that I work with are people that really want to make a change in their life, so they're applying the practice at 100% every single day, and so they will see results. But nevertheless, 2 weeks for when a story that they've been living by has been dominating their life for years, that's incredible, that's powerful, because my method, the Rule of 3 method, is simple but effective. Very simple strategies, taken complex psychology and just distilled it down to simplistic understanding, just so we can apply it. Because otherwise you get stuck in the theoretical, in the realm of just ideas. You're not able to actually ground it into action. And as someone who's been a black belt in jiu-jitsu, achieved high levels in the sport, and now opened a 6-figure business, I know what it means to apply something, not just stay in the theoretical. Commit to this for 30 days or more and watch how things change around you. And of course, if you're ready to take to the next step and you're one of two people, somebody who knows that they have a higher calling in life, but they feel trapped by what we talked about today, fear, anxiety, self-sabotage, loop patterns, and you're ready to make a change. Or you're somebody who has done things in their life, you've achieved some level of success, but you feel you've lost your soul, you have no heart, and you're just a walking husk, feeling like you've made things happen, but it's not in alignment with who you are and what you want to be now. And you have no idea how to find yourself back to your deepest self. So if you're one of those two people, my mentorship is exactly for you. It's a 6-month program. It's intensive, and I only take 2 people per month because I'm just fully devoted to whoever I have. And if I have too many people, I'm scattered too thin. So if this resonated with you and you've been watching my videos for some time, down below, click the link, apply for a 30-minute free consultation to see if we're a perfect fit for each other. And then of course, if you've watched my channel, like, subscribe, comment down below, share your thoughts with me and what you think. It's really going to help get this channel lifted off the ground. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.